Have you ever flown a kite? Have you wondered how high you could get it and then let out the string more and more and more and more and thought, wow, if I just didn't have a string on this, it could really go flying. But what happens when you let go of that string? All of a sudden, the kite just dives down to the ground. It can't hold up. It actually needs that string in order to fly. That opposition, that tension is what makes it so that the wind can carry it up to its heights. A lot of times I think we think of rules as kite strings and that they're holding us down, but really those rules are the things that give us the ability to fly. They're like the skin and bones that hold us together. And lots of the most creative and beautiful things in the world are bound by rules. And those are the things that make the artist, the writer, just sort of reach a little higher or dig a little deeper to fit their creativity inside of this plan. For example, symphonies have kind of a form that they follow, and sonatas and lots of musical models follow a form that has rules. In fact, I think it's helpful to think of rules not as things you can and can't do, but the things that define what it is. Instead of a cage to keep you inside, it's a scaffolding to stand on. Shakespeare, for example, wrote his plays and his sonnets in a thing called iambic pentameter, and that's that every single line has 10 syllables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And a syllable is the part of a word that gets a beat. For example, my name is Miss Rachel. That's 3 syllables, Miss Rachel. Your name, how many syllables does it have? Clap with it and see what you can come up with. Clap with the different ones of your family and figure out how many beats to each one. Actually, I should re-say that because I said how many, but there's 3 beats in that one, so it should be how many beats to each one. Do you see how that works? There are other rules that define things like acrostic poetry, which has the word down the side, and you make a line of poetry from each letter in that word. We've used that already this fall. Haiku is another poetic form that has syllable counts. And one of my favorite books as a child, Green Eggs and Ham, was actually written on a dare. It was written by Theodore Geisel, and the name that he published under was Dr. Seuss. Seuss was his middle name, Theodore Seuss Geisel. So he wrote this book, Green Eggs and Ham, because he had a friend that dared him to write a book that was an excellent children's book that used no more than 50 words. Now that didn't mean how many words total could he use, but how many words could he choose from? So he could use those words as many times as he wanted, as long as he didn't use more than 50 words total. So he could use and several times. He could use the several times. And he certainly did. He used green eggs and ham lots of times. He used Sam I am lots of times. But look at that. Here's a writer who had this constraint, which is something that ties you down, and he turned it into something amazing, just like the kite string. So it didn't really hold it down. It gave him wings to soar. Let's keep that in mind when we are working with our creativity, when we are thinking about the rules of spelling or the rules of punctuation or the rules of grammar or the rules in your family. Remember that rules aren't the things that hold you down. They are the things that empower us and unleash our genius. So keep that in mind for the activity that I'm about to introduce to you.